Hi, this is Melissa with A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you how to squeak your chair, because that's what I just did. I love this chair. It's really new, but for some reason it likes to squeak like my old one, so we're going to keep it. At any rate, besides squeaking the chair, we're going to show you how to use a die, your standard everyday die that you have in your stash, and we're going to use it as a mask. So you can create with all different kinds of the dies that you have, so you find another use for them so that maybe you can go buy more. Yay! Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use your die cut as a mask, and I'm also going to show you how to create this cute little card. I'm also going to show you how to not make the mistake I made right here, which I did not have enough adhesive on the die, so when I placed it as a mask, it actually bled through. So we want to make sure that does not happen, right? Right. So with that, I'm going to tell you what you need. You're going to need something to put your ink on. This is I can't talk today. It's another one of those days. This is for you to place the ink on. I cannot think of the word that I need, so we're going to keep going. An applicator. How you like that? Took a while. The gerbil started working. So we have the mixative, the silver mixative. This is Tim Holtz Adirondack ink. We have a piece of white paper and a piece of silver paper. You can use whatever you want, but that's the paper that I used for this right here, okay, for the sentiment. We have some white twine. We have our black Memento Tuxedo Black ink. We have these pieces right here, and these are basically pieces of cereal box we're going to use to die cut, and we're going to use those as our mask. This is our card base. And this right here is our awesome die that we're going to use. It's a Kaiser Craft die. I love it. It's just beautiful. And then we have some removable adhesive right here by Scrapbook Adhesives. There's other kinds. There's duck and I think some other kinds that you can use as well. And then we also have scissors because we're going to need to cut our twine. And we have a foam rectangle for the 3D on this cute little sentiment. And we have two squares, one a little bit larger than the other, and that's what punched these out. So you know you can do circles, squares, whatever you want. If you want to cut them out on your Brother ScanNCut 2, or you want to cut them out on your Cricut or your Silhouette or whatever machine you want to, you can. Or you can use your manual punches and create that as well. So with that, I am going to get started. And I want to show you what awesome stamp set we're using for this creation. This is the Wedding and Celebrations, and this is A Creative Journey with Melissa. And I love this set because you can really use it for a whole bunch of different things. And not only can you use it for weddings, of course, but you can also use it for celebrating someone graduating. You can use it to celebrate someone on a great victory or something like that. It says nuptials, wedding, congratulations on your day, cheers to you, Mr. and Mrs., congrats, best wishes. So you could really use this for anything. It's mainly wedding wishes, but you could also cheers to someone who got a promotion, all kinds of different cool things that you can do with this set, okay? So if you want to check out our stamp sets, they're at www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com or www.acjwm.com. So we're going to get started. I'm going to show you how we're going to make this cute little mask. We're going to leave this on the side here because first I have to get out my die cut machine. So we'll do that first. Putting everything on the side. So what we need first is the die, and of course the I call it chipboard or your cereal box so that you can cut it out, okay? So we're going to lift this cool little die cut machine. This is a Big Shot, and I do want to show you something really neat. This right here is a magnetic platform, and the reason why I love it is because it's magnetic. Now I don't know about you, but if you have a lot of the thin dies, they're impossible to keep on there without moving around. Well, this cutie, this really holds it, and it's great. It's by Sizzix, and I can't get it off. That's how good it is. I'm gonna have to slide it over. But one of the reasons why it's so magnetic is because it has to hold through this plate because you don't want to cut on this. As you can see, I've already done that, but we won't talk about that right now. So what we want to do is we're going to place this right here, the plastic clear plate on top, and then we're going to place the cool little piece of chipboard on top of there. And then we're going to place the area that needs to be cut, that's the part that sticks up a little bit, if you can see that. You want to place that face down, not the flat spot, because the flat doesn't do anything, it doesn't cut. So we're going to place that face down, make sure it fits. Let's fit it in there, there we go. And then we're going to place the clear platform right on top. So with doing that, we're going to just stick it into the side, and we'll start rolling it through. And this die is really cool. I love the way that it cuts. It cuts really, really nicely. The Kaisercraft dies that I have used are really quite phenomenal, and I'm impressed with them. So here we go. I'm going to put all this aside. We don't need this anymore. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a few of them. So I'm going to do this real quick, and I'll show you the last one so you can see that. Okay. We'll do this again. I'll just flip it through the other way. Same thing. I'll do 3 because I wasn't going to do it exactly the way I did it in the other one, but I thought, well, why not? I can do it. We got some time, right? And I know you could always fast forward through it if you have to. So we got that. I'm gonna throw this out. And then we have, last but not least, this one. So we're gonna put this right here. Make sure it fits right in there so it's going to be covered properly, and then we're going to throw that right through. All right. Okay, so we've got that done. Now I'll show you what it looks like. That way we can get this out of the way and you can get a better visual. So we have these 3 that I did, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you pull it off. This is the die, or the die cut that I made, and that's the die itself. This beauty, it cuts it just beautifully, and you just pop, 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 no problem. No little pieces hanging, nothing. Just a piece of cake. I speak too soon? No, it's good. So you have all these little pieces that if you really wanted to, you could line those up and make another diamond. You could do like the positive and the negative, but I don't know that I would want to do that because that would take a lot of time and I'd have to measure because I'd be a little bit picky about that. So with that, I'm going to scoot that die over. Take these pieces, we don't need those anymore. So these here are the dies that I made with that die cut, okay? So now all we need to do is we're going to take out our piece of paper right here. I'm going to take out a little mat that I have that will protect my surface. Although my surface is protected because I can clean it off, it'll be fine. But I'm just going to make sure because it'll be easier for me to do it for demonstration purposes, so I can just put this on the side and clean it later. So what we want to do right now is we're going to take this right here and we're going to take our adhesive. Actually, I'm going to turn it over so you can see it better. That way it's a little bit more visible, okay? You're going to take this and you're going to put the adhesive on the side, either side, it doesn't really matter, of the diamond so that you can make sure that it adheres to the paper and you don't have the same problem I did. Okay, so we're going to do that. Oh, you know what? I think I might be out. How about that? Let's see. I might be out, and I think I am. Let me see if I have another glue. I do. Yay. So I was out, but now we're good. I had an extra one. Always good to have an extra one, right? And people say that we don't need more than one, right? Now this got a little gloop, but I think that was because it was the end of the glue. So we'll just put a little bit more on there. Yeah, you can tell how much nicer this is flowing. So I'm just trying to put it in the main spots. You can cover it completely if you'd like, but I did learn one thing. You don't want to put too much. Whoops, this kind of refell on itself. Let me open this up. Sorry, technical difficulties. We'll pull this little cutie out. There we go. Didn't want to work for me, but now it's going good. So here we go. All right. Let's do this again. Put it back together. So close. There we go. Okay. Technical difficulties over. Phew. You never know, right? Never know what's going to happen. Got to be prepared for everything. And if you didn't know before, you know now that I do this in one shot. I don't I don't do it in pieces. If I screw up bad enough, I'll just start over, because sometimes it's just better that way. Like actually the first take of this, my camera ran out of batteries and I didn't know it until I was who knows how far through. So I decided, I'll just do it again. Why not, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the adhesive part and I'm just going to put it face down and make sure that it's stuck down. So when I do put the ink on there, it won't get underneath the design. It's kind of like when you're using painter's tape on a wall. You want to make sure that you don't do too much of it, too much ink or too much paint, because if you do, you're going to get some of that underneath that tape. The other thing too is you want to make sure you put enough tape so that you're covering the area that you want. So that is what we've got here. These are, like I said, just the masks. You can use paper too if you want. If you're using something that's a little bit more wet, unless you're doing like a light spray, I would use something that's a little bit more sturdy, like a chipboard or cereal box, because that way you won't have to worry about whether it soaks through and it just starts to soak through with the ink and then it gets on the bottom and stuff like that. That wouldn't be good. So now we're going to take our little applicator, I remember the name, woohoo, and we're going to take this ink, like I said, it's the Silver Mixative, and we're going to place it on this sponge here. I'm just going to put a few drops right in the middle. And then we're just going to kind of gently spread it around. I apologize for the wiggling. I like the way it looks when you do like kind of a smear. It almost gives it a dry look, even when you do have a lot of ink on there. I think it's kind of neat how it comes out. I am going to have to add more ink for sure. So I'm going to do that in a second. But I really like the way this came out. It's almost like a dusting over here. It's kind of cool. I may not even add some more ink. I like the way it's coming out anyway. And if you push down just a little bit, you'll get a little bit more ink because some of it does soak into the sponge. So I'm going to push a little bit further, a little bit more here. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. Let's see what this looks like. I got a little bit of the sponge kind of wore off, which is probably just because I pushed it pretty hard. So I'm going to flick that off a little bit, see what that looks like. I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to fill in a little bit right here with just what I've got on the ink here. That's good. And then maybe a little bit over here. Yeah, it looks good. So I'm going to just tap that off so there's no little pieces from the foam. And that's what we have right now, and we're just going to keep that aside and let it dry, okay? It shouldn't take but a few minutes, but it'll also give me some time to do our stamping and make sure that it all works out. So I'm putting the ink on the side. I'm going to take this applicator and put it on the side. And I'm going to clean off my little work area, and I'll set that down here and clean it later. So now what we need to do is we need to take out the Wedding and Celebrations stamp set, and we're going to take out the actually I already have it on my pad. I forgot. Let me clean this off real quick. I'm going to clean it off super quick just to make sure that there's no residual ink on there. Put that right there, and then dry it off on the dry side. I think we're good. Okay, so this here is the stamp set that we're using. I'm going to put this aside. Okay, it is Wedding and Celebrations. This is my set. I typically keep it in an envelope. It's just easier for me to carry and bring with me. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can store your stuff. I like to just keep it in an envelope. I had an excess of these envelopes, so why not? So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this right here and this stamp, and we're going to place it on the acrylic block. We have some really cool new acrylic blocks that you can use, which I just super duper love. And like this one here, it's huge. Like you can see the difference. It's really, really neat. Let's see if you can see the difference. It's kind of hard to see. But they're super duper cool, and you can use them with the bigger sentiments and the bigger stamps. So if you're interested, make sure you check out our website at www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com or www.acjwm.com. In the meantime, we're going to take out our already punched out white piece of paper for our sentiment and the silver or gray that we're going to use for matting. So you're just going to take your ink and you're going to ink the stamp like so. And you're going to want to make sure you center it on your paper where you want it. Looks good to me. Now, since I have some more paper, I'm going to do another one. Always better to make, always better to make more than one. That's just the way I roll. The other one I had a little piece of paper stuck on and it wasn't looking as good. So now this right here has a texture on it right there, and then it has the flat. So you're going to want to do the flat side, okay? Right here. Okay, so we'll keep that one for later. Looks good. Now we're just going to set our stamp aside and our ink aside. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take out our awesome cool foam rectangle, and we're going to place it on the back of this. I put it on the same side as the sentiment was. Just place it right here. And then we're going to adhere that to the square. Make sure it's centered properly. See, it looks a little bit off. I'll turn it a little bit. There we go. Looks good. And now we're going to take our twine, and we're going to make sure we hold on to a little bit of it so we'll be able to tie a knot. You can wrap it as many times as you want. I usually wrap it somewhere between 3 and 5 because you want to have it a little bit odd so that the odd numbers make sure that it kind of gives a flow for your design. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll get our scissors out and we'll cut that. Put the extra piece aside, and now we're just going to tie a simple knot. If I can tie a simple knot. Clearly I'm having trouble. Okay, so you want to tie it tight, but not too tight to where you actually bend the paper. So we've got this, and we're just tying a knot like that, and then we're going to trim it, like so. Okay, we're going to set both of those aside. Now what we have is this cool little decoration here. I love it. I love the way it looks. Looking good. And then we have this one, and I also have the one I did prior. So there's a different one you can do. You can just do it in the center, or you can do it the way the exact sample that I had created. And that's this one, okay? So I'm going to show you what you do now. You're just going to gently pull this off. And you may have some of the residual of the adhesive on there. And we can pull that off in just a second. That's been sitting for a couple hours, so it would make sense that there's a lot more to it than that. Then we have this. That came off pretty easy. And then we have this. Whoops, that one didn't come off very easy. Let's turn that little bugger around. And this one's stuck a little bit, but I think we're good. There we go. Sometimes the cereal boxes may be a little bit thinner than you think in certain places, and sometimes they stick a little bit better than you want them to. So like this one is coming off like a piece of cake. That's the way it should come off. Anyway, so now here it's got some adhesive on it. So what I'm doing is I'm just rubbing it off. Now what you can do too is, I don't know if you have one of these, but this should definitely be in your toolbox, is it's basically a glue eraser. And it's really neat because it gets rid of all your adhesive that you don't need. And then we have this here. And it just makes like a little glue ball. You just throw it out. And then this here. Now I might have done this a little bit too soon because it's a little bit wet still, so it's smearing just a little, but that's okay. For demonstration purposes, I think we're good. I'll show you what the other one looks like. It's had quite some time to dry, so it should be fine. Okay, so we have that one. Oops, got a little bit right there. We got to get off. There we go. And then we have this. And then if you use less, you have to worry about whether or not it will actually stick or not. So it's better to use a little bit more. You could probably use like a glue line, because like glue dots tend to come off relatively easy. But I don't know if that would be the best idea, and I haven't tried it yet. So if you try it, please let me know. That would be awesome. Okay, so that's what it looks like after you take off the mask. Since I already created this one, I'm going to create with this one. Okay. So what we're going to do is simply take our adhesive and we're going to take adhesive on the back of this right here. This is your sentiment. You're just going to place a little bit of adhesive on the back of here and a little bit on the back of the twine, because you want to make sure that it sticks to that as well. And you're just going to put this right here, just like so. I think I like this design a little bit better, but this is pretty cool. I like the way it looks. I have a little piece of glue there, it's bugging me. So, well, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial today, and I hope that you will think outside of the box for sure when you think about all the dies that you have and all the different things that you can do with them. And how cool would it be to find different ways and different ideas of what to do with these awesome dies you have. So I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for going on a creative journey with Melissa. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.